The Unwanted, Chapter 12, Part 2. I learned that my aunt's oldest son, Lay, was about Lum's age. He was handsome and a bachelor. His favorite pastime was playing the guitar on the steps of his house. The local girls would stop by every day and listen to his love songs. While he strummed, one of the girls was singing along with him as his mother sat a few steps away, watching with pride in her eyes. The second son, 10, was my aunt's pride and joy because he had graduated from college as an electrical specialist. He lived with his new bride, Orchid, in the furthest bungalow in the back next to the bathroom. Every time I walked by his room, I saw him peering at some large piece of stereo equipment through a thick pair of glasses. 10 rarely showed interest in anything beyond the work on his desk. Following the wedding, and at my aunt's suggestion, Orchid had given up her teaching job to be an obedient wife. The third son, Nia, was the image of his father, and just like my uncle, he had a bad temper and unpleasant appearance. Even his mother was afraid of him. After 2 years of stumbling around in college, he left school at the age of 24, jobless and loveless, and was again living at home. Nia shared the second bungalow with his elder brother. The next 2 daughters, Moonlight and Snow, had been away at college until that summer, after the fall of Saigon. They now lived in a room that once had been part of the kitchen. Even though the 2 girls were in their early 20s, which was considered late for marriage, they remained single. The combination of their poverty and their excessive schooling prevented proper suitors from approaching my aunt and uncle for their hands in marriage. My aunt's next group of children was made up of 5 boys ranging from 14 to 19, who hung around each other like a flock of birds. They were the ones who examined my brother and me in amazement. With rough hands and dirt-encrusted nails, they ruffled our hair and pinched our cheeks. My aunt's 6th child, Tree, was known for his reserved and polite manner. The next one, Tin, was the shortest and stockiest. He was the same cross-eyed boy who had defined half-breed to Jimmy earlier. He had a job in a factory making rice sacks, but such responsibility did not keep him from behaving like a teenager. Tim jumped on my back, insisting that I had to carry him across the yard as part of the initiation into his family. His weight crushed me to the ground. Each time I tried to get up, he would sit back down to shove my face in the dirt, and his brothers would laugh out loud with delight. After a while, when Tin realized I was too weak to carry him, he changed his demand. Now he directed me to crawl on all 4s from one end of the garden to the other, underneath his 3 younger brothers' outstretched legs. While I made my slow, painful way, the boys loomed above me, spitting on my back and poking my backside with sticks to force me to go faster. A few feet away, my brother was sharing my fate, but the moment he was hit with the sticks, Jimmy cried out to my grandparents for help. Fearing my grandfather, my cousins left him alone. Nan, my 8th cousin, was skinny and tall. His body reminded me of the shape of a bamboo tree. Hugh and Hen were my 9th and 10th cousins, and were around my height and of similar build, even though both of them were at least 2 or 3 years older than I. Underneath a rambutan tree that had bright red, spiny fruits covering its thick branches, my brother joined my aunt's last 4 daughters and watched the scene in silence. The oldest girl in this group was Pink. She was my age. Next to her stood the twins, Cloud and Wind. The youngest, Proud, was my brother's age. In fact, their birthdays were only 2 days apart. Inside the house, my mother did not see us running from the outside, looking like two rag dolls with torn clothes and bruises. My grandmother took Jimmy and me to clean up by the well as my cousins stood around and watched without making a sound. Afterward, my grandfather took us to the local public school a few blocks away to enroll us in summer school. I was assigned to 3rd grade, class 3C, with Pink and Hen. My brother would be in 1st grade, class 1A, with the twins and Proud.